Have you ever wondered how to turn your not so cool looking hero into this black Super Saiyan emitting aura? Let me show you how. Today we are diving deep into the high risk, high reward with an in-depth analysis of the legendary item, the all black, the Necro Sword. First things first, where can you find this item, you might ask? While in-game, tap on the item shop icon and tap on either attack or energy tab and you will see the Necro Sword on the first column. But before you make that purchase, let's take a closer look at what the Necro Sword has to offer. Necro Sword offers a tempting proposition with its massive 360 energy attack and 270 physical attack stats. I mean, who wouldn't want a substantial damage boost for their heroes, right?
That's a lot of damage!
But hold on tight, because there's more to this item than meets the eye. First off, let's address the downside. The Necro Sword doesn't provide any additional beneficial stats like HP, armor, movement speed, or any of those goodies we usually seek. It's all about raw power, but here's where things get interesting and perhaps a little bit nerve-wracking. When you purchase the Necro Sword, there are 3 conditions attached to its ownership. The first condition stated that the Necro Sword will be attached to the most expensive item in your inventory. For the sake of simplicity, let us assume that we are going to grab Necro Sword right after we finish our third full recipe item on Hawkeye. If Hawkeye already has Double Dagger, Hunting Greaves and Deadpool's Bazooka, well, guess what? It will attach itself to the most expensive item you have, which in this case is the Double Dagger. If you are wondering which item is more expensive than the other, while you are at the home screen, hover over to the archive and tap on the gear tab. The third column is where the item price will be sorted in ascending manner, where the cheapest item price comes first and the most expensive item price will be the last one of the list. But that's not all. The second condition warns us that if your hero wielding the Necro Sword dies, the sword itself along with the item it was attached to will be destroyed. Suddenly, dying becomes a lot scarier, doesn't it? One of the biggest concerns when dying when having Necro Sword in your inventory is that you could suddenly turn into a liability factor to your team, because now your team is behind in net worth, which means less stronger heroes with less damage, survivability or utility due to having one less item compared to the enemy team. And here's the real kicker. The third condition seals the deal. If you die while wielding the Necro Sword, that item slot is permanently sealed. Yes, you heard it right. The item slot will not be replaceable with other items and you will be left in an unfavorable situation where you will be stuck with one less slot, putting your team at a severe disadvantage, especially in the late game when most heroes are already 6-slotted. Now, let's answer a couple of burning questions. Why the difference in stats between energy attack and physical attack? The energy attack stats is higher by 33% compared to the physical attack stats. Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I would love to ask the developers at NetEase about it, or maybe start a petition for them to hire me so I can get you the answers you deserve. Because as for right now, I don't have a single clue.
I don't know.
But enough about that. Let's focus on who should even consider getting the Necro Sword. It all depends on various factors within the game, but here's a general rule of thumb. Firstly, it's for heroes who heavily rely on their high physical or energy attack scaling. Heroes such as Thanos with Space Stone, Icarus on both Reckoning and Retribution passive, or Vision with Solar Energy Beam Ultimate will most likely find this item appealing. Secondly, heroes with great mobility or escape mechanism can still benefit from the Necro Sword, even if they find themselves in a tricky spot. Heroes such as Star-Lord with Rocket Boots, Human Torch with Fury Cage, or Black Knight with Knight's Charge definitely fits the bill. Thirdly, Necro Sword might just be a ticket to victory if you have a hero who deals damage from a distance without putting themselves at risk. Example of heroes such as Doctor Strange with Bolts of Baltar, Interdimensional Portal and Sorcerer Supreme Ultimate, Hawkeye massive basic attack range passive upgrade, or Mysterio with the Deadly Orbit and Mirror Illusion. And last but not least, heroes with high durability, sustainability or the ability to respond in team fights can turn the tide with this item. Heroes like Venom with Symbiote Rebirth passive, Adam Warlock with Golden Chrysalis passive, or Corvus Glaive with Soul Recharge passive can afford to take risks with this item, knowing they have a second life to back it up. After this deep dive into the Necro Sword, It's time to remember a few key points. Firstly, you can buy the Necro Sword at any point in the game if you dare to take the risk. There are no time restrictions holding you back, so if you believe it's the right move, go for it. Secondly, remember that the Necro Sword cannot be attached to boots. If you are trying to be cheeky and have this idea in mind, you will be disappointed to know that it just doesn't work.
Disappointed!
Thirdly, it will only be attached onto full recipe items. Why, you may ask? As we mentioned in the beginning of this video, there's always risk when it comes to having such a powerful item in the game, which means that sacrificing a small income of component items is not what Necrosword wanted to do. In other words, your completed item will be the sacrificial lamb for Necrosword. And speaking of sacrifices, for the fourth point, once you have purchased the Necrosword, there's no turning back. It's a done deal since you cannot sell the item that Necrosword was attached to. You will have to roll with the punches, hope for the best, and pray that the enemy doesn't single you out as their primary target. For the final point, if you happen to have multiple items with the same price tag in your inventory, the Necrosword will attach itself to the first item of that price tag that you purchased first. So, be aware of your inventory's positioning since you cannot rearrange them while at the same time trying to avoid accidentally attaching the Necrosword to an item you don't want to lose when you die. All said and done, remember, sometimes as in life, you have to take risk at times. You need to determine at certain points in the game whether buying Necrosword to seal the deal on winning the game or just for all-in defense is required or not. Sometimes, you just have to take the high risk in order to gamble for higher reward. Either you win it all or lose it all.
DANGEROUS Dangers.
We want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the Necrosword is worth the 1,400 gold price tag considering the high risk involved? And for which heroes do you personally buy the Necrosword? Share your experience and insights in the comment section down below. If you need inputs on how to deal against heroes with high sustainability, this next video on the screen might be helpful to you.